What is your most memorable I didn't expect to be having sex today story? NSFW. I was an adult entertainer for a couple of years. Having sex with the patrons was obviously illegal, but as you can imagine, it happened. The one time it surprised me as I was first in for an early spot. It was 4:30 and a pretty girl walked in and sat in a dark corner near one of the smaller satellite bars. I just had gotten dressed, hadn't even been on stage yet, and the DJ had probably played 1 or 2 songs since we opened. I was sober, rare when dancing, and hadn't taken any G, which was my go-to drug of choice. She ushered me over and asked for a table dance. Fine. I begin moving and she immediately spreads her legs on the bar stool and she has a shaved and pierced pussy. I go rock hard, but keep dancing. She then tells me she is also a dancer and has a 6 o'clock shift at the Pink Pony. Was on my way to work and got horny. So before you could say hump and grind, I was in her. We quickly finished up. Thankfully no waitresses were on the floor. Doormen were elsewhere getting ready for the night and my manager was probably doing lines in the office. We cleaned up. She tipped me well and she was gone. All in the space of 10 minutes. It was like getting ducked in the office before your first coffee. Working the night shift in a hospital. The delivery room services was quiet and calm. So I decide to stroll around the hospital. Found a female intern, which I hang out with and have a smoke during boring night shifts. And as we're smoking outside the hospital, we started making out. She mentioned that the classrooms on the top floor are sometimes open and are private. We go to the top floor. One empty classroom is open. We bang on the floor. Wasn't expecting to bang that night. And the floor was cold and hard. My knees hurts after being done. We didn't get enough sleep cause we were ducking. Still, 10/10. Would have hospital 6 again. And edit. Wow. My highest rated comment. Sweet. Thank you. I will try to answer as many of your questions as possible. A girl I knew but wasn't real close friends with one day texted me asking if I wanted to go walk her dog with her. I got there, was invited in. Got it to be pushed in my hands with a beer. Turns out she didn't have a dog. We watched a movie. About halfway through she starts giving me a blowjob. Best walk ever. I was working as a server at a restaurant and we had a beautiful new hostess start working there recently. We both happened to be closing one night when I told her that she looks how I would describe the perfect woman. One of the hostess closing duties is doing the mirrors in the bathroom. I walked into the men's room as she was cleaning them. I turned to walk back out and she told me not to. It was a blur for both our pants were down and I was inside her. I came to work expecting tips but I didn't expect to be giving anyone mine. I gave a presentation in one of my classes and after the day just went back to my place. My GF had never seen me in a suit before. So when she came in she just said, "You're going to duck me." Damn it. I never realized the power of a good suit until then. I had a girl over and we started talking about making blanket forts as kids. So naturally, I grabbed a bunch of blankets and pillows and we made one. I went and got some flashlights and turned off the lights. Then next thing I know we start making out. Clothes start coming off. I asked, "Is this actually happening?" And she replied, "Shut up and just duck me." I was really good friends with this guy in HS. I guess I was 16. Never really saw him as an option romantically. We are in my bedroom hanging out. Maybe there was a beer or two. Can't recall too much of the day as a whole. I have my favorite tunes playing. Tori Amos. It was high school, and we started talking about 2 mutual friends that are friends with benefits. Now, I know this is a very common thing on Reddit nowadays, but this is 15 years ago and let me tell you, to us this was very unusual. So I said, "Do you think you could ever to that?" There was something about how he looked at me and grew so shy that all of a sudden I knew he liked me. He says, "Well, it really depends on the person I would be with." So I said, "I mean with ME." We had sex like 10 minutes later. So my mom walks in while we are boinking and runs out. Later she says to me, "Mom, I am sorry I walked in. I just never expected you two to be having sex." To which I said, "Yeah, me neither. Oh grave a circumflex a diaresis. Edit. Oh grave a circumflex a diaresis. Edit. Duck it. Edit. Because you all worked so hard and I appreciate it. Oh grave a circumflex a diaresis. Dot. Asked girl in class if she wanted to study. I ate her out for an hour or so. She sucked my D for 30 seconds. Got B on exam. Edit. She gave amazing head. Went on a first date with this girl in college. She lived in the nice housing complex on campus and it was the Friday before spring break. All her roommates had gone home already for the vacation. We were sitting on the couch having a semi-deep conversation after we got back. She excused herself to go change into her PJs. She invited me into her room and joked when she saw me take her desk chair while she was in bed. "It's fine, you can sit on my bed. It's not like we're gonna have a sex." Literally like 3 minutes later, we started having sex. That was the only time I've ever had a FWB fling situation. Lasted about a month. But goddammit, it was the highlight of my life. If a BJ counts. It was during work years ago. I was stressed out. My assistant suggested I go get a massage and recommends a place. Legit massage. I think the girl was hitting on me because she kept saying how nice my ass was. How pleasant of a surprise I was versus the usual. Right before I turned over, she was rubbing my thigh and accidentally tickled my balls. Anyway, after I turned over I apologized for the hard on. She asked if she could play with it and kept telling me she shouldn't be doing this. She could get in a lot of trouble. I never went back, but to this day was one of the best orgasms I've ever had. If we're talking actual sex, when I was young I lived in an apartment with a GF. I was trying to put on 30 pounds of muscle and was taking pills and drinking shakes and energy drinks. I was in such a rage that day and was getting so damn mad about everything. I almost got in a road rage fist fight with a dude who cut me off. When I got home I was furious and took a shower to cool off. GF was turned on seeing me so mad, so got out of the shower and rage ducked her from behind while she had her hands on the wall we shared with the neighbors. I came so hard I punched a hole in the wall and screamed. This was probably the best sex in my life. I also stopped the pills and powder that night. Honestly, this is how I feel just about every time I have a sex with a new girl for the first time. Working as a hostess at a bar restaurant at about 9 PM. Hot guy and a mutual friend are drinking. Hot guy starts flirting with me. Sometimes it bugs me to be hit on at work. That night I was bored and feeling twirly, so I went with it. Guy asks me if I want to go to a show with him after my shift. I say sure. I get off at 11. Guy says and then a few more times before sunup. Winked. Left the bar. I just want to repeat that in case you missed how ducking smooth that was. And then a few more times before sunup. Winked. Amazing. Came back at 11. I grabbed my coat. We went to a show and then back to his house. He told no lies. Sirs and madams, no lies at all. As of 8:59 I was planning on going home, smoking a bowl, and getting a good night's sleep. Wild night. Probably the time I went to a beach party at my friend's place. As the only single guy, her friend's wife was excessively hot to me, and was in a bikini top, which was difficult for me because I don't wanna be ogling some married woman. I'm looking for a place to sit and she offers me a spot on the towel next to her. I act like I don't notice because I don't wanna end up making moves. But my completely oblivious friend is like, dude, she's making a spot for you right there. So I sit down and we start talking. She is very obviously interested in me, and within 10 minutes I excuse myself to go back to the cars parked a ways away to check my phone. She says she has to use the bathroom. Few minutes later I'm nailing her doggy style on the hood of her husband's cousin's car. About 500 yards from the party. I thought I was the ittiest person in the world for a few minutes after. Until I figured out that she and her husband were into that and he completely knew what we were doing. I was at my brother's wedding in Finland. Being a drunk happy asshole. One of the few parties I have ever been where I was 100% not looking to get laid. I was just happy to be with my family I hadn't seen in almost a year. Getting drunk at the top of a cool ski resort and eating a bunch of dope food. Get sort of really drunk off the champagne. And we all party till like 2 AM. We all decide to wander off to the cabins to go to sleep. We get there, and half of us want to keep the party going. So me and the other half are ready to pass out. I go downstairs, pick a bed and lay down. Then I think, well, I should shower and change for bed. These suspenders and sunglasses won't be comfortable. So I go shower. Then I think, well, I should go say goodnight to everyone. Some people are leaving early in the morning to catch flights back to America. Then I go smoke a cigarette with this cute Finnish girl who was taking photos of the wedding. We share a beer and I tell her I'm going to bed. And she tells me that I am far too young for that. So we keep drinking. By 3 AM she also is feeling tired and wanted to know where the beds were. Being the perfect gentleman I am, I escorted the lady to the bedroom I had put my stuff. This room had 3 beds and a lock on the door. I sit down on the bed I picked out and she locks the door and looks at me. Blame it on the booze or my ineptitude with women. But this was the first moment when I thought, wait, does she? She did. Like 5 times. The flight back to America was sort of uncomfortable because of how sore my balls were. Edit. She later told me it was adorable how oblivious I was, which apparently made me super attractive. Yay. I was traveling at the time. I'd had a one night stand with someone I met via couchsurfing and it hadn't been very good. The whole thing was an ordeal. So the next day I was feeling a bit low and had a bit of a geyser asshole's attitude about me and was planning on avoiding intimacy for a while. I was hitchhiking out of the town the couchsurfer lived in when a drop dead gorgeous guy picks me up. In about 10 minutes flat I'd forgotten about the ET events from the Prev night and I was having lunch with this guy. He ended up camping with me that night in the mountains just outside of Denver and we did the do. He was my sofa 2 years after that. I don't think in 2 years I ever told him that I'd gotten laid the night previous. It was a really romantic, awesome day and I never wanted to damper it with info like that. Every day, and my expectations have not been proven wrong so far. I was an internet and environmental non-profit. My supervisor was holding a watch party for the first Republican debate of this election cycle. I had had a crush on him and been shamelessly flirting with him for a few weeks. Turned out I was the only one who showed up. We started talking after the end of the debate and all of a sudden it was 1 in the morning and we were still talking. Long story short, we hooked up and now we've been dating for almost 1.5 years. Definitely the best thing that I've gotten thanks to the Republican Party. It was a random Saturday in the summertime, around 1 to 2 AM, and I was home alone just enjoying a night in when from out of nowhere someone's ringing my doorbell. I freak out before realizing that it's an old duck buddy who I hadn't seen in a few months. Completely trashed off his ass. He said he was driving through my neighborhood and really needed to pee, and my house was the closest place he could think of. I took his keys, let him do the needful, and afterwards suggested that he hang out with me in my bedroom watching TV until he sobered up. Not a ploy. My bedroom was the only room in my house with decent AC at the time. We watched Netflix, we talked, and eventually we passed out in bed together. I woke up a few hours later to him going down on me, which escalated pretty quickly into ducking. We went back to sleep and ducked again in the morning. Afterwards, we showered together, had breakfast, and that was the last time I ever saw him. I was watching my sister's roughly new twins with her husband's co-worker friend. We had just put them down and were sitting in the hallway since the baby monitor was broken and I started talking about the kids and how much I adored them. He said it was hot how motherly I was by nature and ended up ducking in the hallway. We're married now. I didn't expect to be having sex when I turned on the N64. Can you reach the remote to mute it? I can't do it. I'm pinned down with a D in me. No, you can't reach it either? Fine. We'll just have a sex to the soothing voice of the POC registered Simon Stadium announcer asking what's the matter, trainer, over and over again because I'm not giving any orders in game. Went to a friend's house to hang out. Old co-worker I had not seen in a long time after she quit. The night was innocent enough until the shots started coming. Not long after that the clothes started flying off. Was totally surprised at what was happening. I truly only view her as a friend, but I had been in a 3-year dry spell and would take what I could get. Good thing she was attractive as well. I'm a dude. Years ago I met a girl in a bookstore. She was really cool and the 5-minute conversation about comic books turned into a 3-hour conversation. Of course I asked her out before I left, but she replied with I'm seeing someone, but we can hang out if you want. So yay. We are hanging out the next week and she tells me she is gay and her girlfriend lives with her. Cool. We can be friends without her significant other getting jealous. We hang out for years. Her GF leaves. She dates another. Rinse. Wash repeat. We hang out at least once a week. The relationship is very sexual but not at all physical. It's all in conversation. We are both in our 20s. It's the 90s and having a wingman of the opposite sex is awesome. One night she tells me she has the Why Can't Tori Read videotape. Tori Amos in a metal band. Pre-piano. So we load it up. Curl up on the couch and start watching. Nothing out of the ordinary at this point. The next thing I know her hand is down my pants. That was her opener. She said she was curious. The sex was great and lasted most of the night. Nothing seemed to change in our relationship apart from us having sex every 3 or 4 months and any time a GF broke up with her. Every single time I've gone out with a chick who has not here for sex on her Tinder profile. My buddy asked me to hang out and meet his friend Sabrina. We were hanging out driving around when Sabrina starts getting frisky with me. We were going down the 91 freeway with System of Down blaring and this girl I met about an hour ago riding the it out of me in the back seat. Great day. Noah, you're the best wingman. Work in a plant. Was turnaround time and I was working night shift in the lab. Had someone walk in to bring a sample to the lab. It was quiet and several of my co-workers were asleep so it was dead in the building. He was very cute and was enjoying the AC so I wasn't complaining. He adjusted himself a time or two and caught me watching him do it and made a joke about being bored and watching too many vids on his phone. I made a joke about the dangerous tool he was carrying. Definitely a nice size bulge. Soon I was seeing it up close and enjoying the taste. Got to be a regular occurrence during that turnaround whenever I was on night shift. Tinder, or any first date when I skip on bringing condoms. The look of low expectations on my face is somehow sexy AF. Man ask Reddit is really horny this week. I thought she was crying. Nope, that was moaning. And she had started masturbating during the Skype call. Whoa. Didn't expect to be having sex today. Didn't have a sex today. Not super memorable, but it's the best one I've got. I went to have coffee with a friend on my way back from my parents' house. We met at Panera for coffee and talked a while. Meeting with him always comes with the desire to do a little more than just talk as we both express a sexual desire for one another. But we had a time limit so we both weren't expecting to get much. He asked if I wanted to get out of there with him. So we left with the intention we could at least make out a bit before I had to leave. He got in his car and drove to a bit of the parking lot where no one seemed to be. It happened to be behind a movie theater. After getting in the backseat and kissing, things started to escalate quickly. Teasing each other a bit. Finding him already hard was a huge turn on. So I decided to slide down his pants a bit so I could give him some head. After edging him a bit, he asked if I wanted more. I was shocked that he was willing to in such a public place, but the thought of it excited me. So ended up actually getting in some sex and not getting caught. Fun fact, we actually started talking because of Reddit in June. When I was 16, I got a few pair of cartoon themed boxer underwear as a Christmas gift from my grandma. Of course, they were hilariously lame to me, but they were comfortable and I'll be damned if I was going to go out and buy my own underwear. So these boxers worked their way into my wardrobe rotation. There were 3 pair. I don't remember which cartoon characters were on the non-lucky pairs, but the lucky ones were Looney Tunes. After I got caught wearing the Looney Tunes themed boxers during 3 different hookups with 3 different girls over the next year-ish, I realized these were now my lucky boxers. Every damn time I hooked up with a new girl, I was wearing these boxers. It wasn't like I wore these any more than any of my other undies. They were washed in the same load of darks as all my other boxers, but they somehow inevitably were the pair I was wearing whenever a new girl wanted in my pants. I never realized I was wearing those particular boxers until it was pointed out to me. The converse all went basically the same. Girl pulls down my pants or tells me to. Girl, are these Looney Tunes? Me. Uncomfortable laugh. Yeah. Girl, why Looney Tunes? Me. My grandma got them for me. They're comfy. Girl, AWW. That's cute, haha. That's funny. Goes to town. I'm married. So, you know, anytime it happens. Really. Nothing too fancy, but in my junior year of college I had been hanging out with this cute girl a few days in a row. One night she invited me to her dorm and her roommate was gone. We cuddled and made out a little, and during a pause in the makeout sesh I said something along the lines of, Is your roommate gonna be pissed if she walks in on us? To which she replied, I mean, if we're having sex maybe. I did not know that was even on the menu for the night. Proceeded to have us on a 6. Her roommate walked in shortly afterwards. 10/10 would do again. Dear Hustler, I was having a lazy Sunday when a younger co-worker called me out of the blue because her bipolar stepfather was having some kind of episode. He had literally thrown and smashed her computer and was still stomping around the house angrily. She was scared and wanted to get out of there. I went and picked her up and brought her to my place. She brought a couple of her favorite movies that she likes to watch when she's upset. Seems pretty innocent so far. About halfway through the Aristocat she snuggled herself up to me with her head resting on me and an arm around me. We decide to take a quick smoke break. And she stands up and stretches, revealing her stomach. I tell her she has a great stomach and she responded with a smile and the kind of look that made my bathing suit area feel tingly. Next thing I knew we were doing dirty things to each other. It turned into the best Sunday ever. Went to my neighbor's apartment when they were having a party. Walked in the door. 30 seconds later I left with some girl who just walked up to me. Entered her shortly thereafter. I once met with my wife for some brunch. She was wearing an outfit with punch. I had work on that date, but was fine being late when I found myself deep in her cunt. Crushing hard on this one chick. She only liked me as a friend. No biggie. I decided to move on and stay friends. We're hanging out one night and she meets my brother that very night and they barely even talk. I legit thought they didn't like each other until I told him it was time to go and he said he was leaving with her. So, I was pretty devastated. It was a while before we hung out again. But when we did we ended up getting drunk and as the Uber was dropping her off and I finally met her mom. 40 something MILF. The mother gave me her number just in case. Next time I got messed up with her. I was pissed because she denied my advances again. She was needy and said I could sleep at her house. Which pissed me off even more. Made my move on the mom and it worked. Best 6 I've had. TLDR. Don't be a skank and reject me because I'll bone your mom. One time my ex asked me to go over to her house for lunch on my break. We banged for 45 minutes then I went back to work. I didn't eat any food for the day but I DC had 6.